Regulator Bill.
Second reading what day?
Friday the 14th of June.
Friday the 14th of June. We're now going to move on to the 10-minute rule motion on standards in public life codes of conduct. Debbie Abrahams.
Thank you so much, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I beg that leave be given to bring in a bill to require the codes of conduct for ministers, MPs and councillors to be made statutory and for connected purposes. Mr. Deputy Speaker, we are here today in the Mother of Parliaments, a place that is steeped in our country's history, from passing acts of union to overthrowing a tyrannical monarch. A place that Chartists and suffragettes fought for the right to be in, and a place that has approved our country's most important human rights and equality legislation. But to many people across our great country and nation state, they feel that the UK Parliament, the MPs and ministers that sit in this place, that make new laws on behalf of them no longer represents them. People across the country feel that while they play by the rules too often, too many of us do not. They are engaged every 5 years or so in a general election, but rarely in between. And while they are struggling to make ends meet, public money is treated by some as a personal fiefdom to bestow on their chums and benefactors. When people lose faith in democracy, they seek political extremes. Polling from the Institute for Government recently showed 2/3 of our constituents said that they do not think the current government behaves to high ethical standards. Likewise, polling from the UK Anti-Corruption Coalition found 2/3 of voters believe UK politics is becoming more corrupt. Our democracy is fragile, and the reputation of this place, as we're in it for ourselves, will, if not tackle, lay the groundwork for some of the country's most abhorrent forces, and that is what my bill seeks to address. Mr. Deputy Speaker, while I'm proud to be a Labour MP, this bill is not party political. The reality is that when one party is seen as behaving in a way that lacks integrity, this does not affect just them, it affects the reputation of politicians on all sides. In the context of the cost of living crisis and the flailing economy, some might describe attempts at political reform as somehow ethereal, but this misunderstands that our political and economic crises are two sides of the same coin. The failure to provide political stability has deterred the private sector investment that we need to supercharge economic growth. Taxpayers' money is being wasted in scandals as wide-ranging as Carillion, Greensill and PP procurement, precisely because the 7 principles of public life, commonly referred to as the Nolan Principles, of selflessness, honesty, integrity, leadership, objectivity, accountability and openness are not at the heart of public life. As such, my bill sets out proposals to address the current gaps in achieving these principles by defining what is needed to promote, adopt and regulate the expected standards of behaviours of MPs, ministers and councillors. My bill is as follows. Firstly, it puts the ministerial and members' codes of conduct onto a statutory footing, as well as introducing a national statutory code of conduct for local councillors. Secondly, my bill establishes a new Commissioner for Ministerial Standards, a fully independent office protected by statute. Thirdly, to mirror this arrangement for MPs, my bill proposes the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner's Office, which currently oversees the Code of Conduct for MPs, is also established as an independent statutory office. Finally, my bill seeks to establish a new Ethics Commission to review how our parliamentary system can develop to reflect the modern, inclusive, empowering democracy that we want to become in the 21st century and beyond. I want to take each of these measures in turn. On the Ministerial Code, my bill proposes that the code, including the 7 Nolan Principles, are put on the statute book. This would bring us into line with the code in Northern Ireland and add greater credibility and awareness of the code. This is a measure that has received cross-party support as well. Even the former Chancellor, George Osborne, told the leading podcast that it would be a great agenda to put the Ministerial Code on a statutory footing. I wholeheartedly agree, and this is what my bill tries to do. It's absolutely right that under this, the Nolan Principles, currently guiding principles, also become codified. Right Honourable and lay colleagues on the Standards Committee have stated that at present, though the independent advisor has not historically launched investigations into breaches of process or constitutional principle, neither the Code nor the advisor's terms of reference make this clear. My bill seeks to address this lack of clarity by empowering the new Commissioner on Ministerial Standards to be able to act independently from the Prime Minister and to be able to launch their own investigations into allegations of breaches of the Code and or the Nolan Principles. As an independent and statutory office, it will also be protected from the vagaries or displeasures of Prime Ministers. We have seen very recent and very prominent examples of decisions not to ask the current advisor on ministerial standards to conduct investigations made by the Prime Minister on the whims of the day. The fact in the last 4 years Parliament has seen 2 holders of this role resign also indicates the tensions regarding these decisions. I know that this is also something that enjoys deep and widespread support, including from the Institute for Government. Furthermore to this, my bill proposes that the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards should also become a statutory office, and that under their purview, in addition to investigating members for potential breaches of Code of Conduct rules, members could be investigated for serious and serial breaches of the Nolan Principles. Paragraph 17 of the Members' Code expressly prohibits the Commissioner from investigating allegations solely about breaches of the 7 principles of public life. Reform to our politics also needs to extend to town halls across the country. We all know that from our constituencies that the vast majority of councillors works tirelessly trying to make a difference in their communities. But unfortunately, a minority use their positions for their own purposes and threaten our democracy as a result. My bill will also apply to local councillors who are often a member of the public's first contact with an elected official. If we rightly want to empower councils and communities to do more, and because, as US Congress Speaker Tip O'Neill once said, all politics is local, we must strengthen codes of conduct in local government. My bill proposes a standardised National Councillor Code of Conduct, which includes the Nolan Principles and is accompanied by a statutory accountability system. And finally, I turn to how we address the issue that I raised at the beginning of my speech: the disengagement of people from the political process and the dangerous decline of our democracy. My bill proposes setting up an independent ethics commission of constitutional and legal experts to advise Parliament on system-wide reforms. The ethics commission would work alongside a citizens' assembly to come up with recommendations to restore confidence and rebuild engagement in our political system, securing our democratic future. So I urge members on all sides to support my bill to strengthen our standards in public life and to restore the public's trust in us as their elected representatives to this Parliament. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
This would be the opportunity for anybody who wishes to oppose the bill to indicate if they wish to do so. I've had no indication and I see none, so I'll pose the question. The question is that the Honourable Member have leave to bring in the bill. As may I let me say aye? Contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Who will prepare and bring in the bill?
Kim Leadbeater, Caroline Lucas, Leila Moran, Dr. Dan Porter and myself, sir.
Abrahams.
Standards in Public Life, Codes of Conduct Bill.
Second reading what day?
26th of April, sir.
26th of April. Thank you very much. Point of order. Yasmin Qureshi.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.